Hi, good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. This week, as fast as it's gone, it's actually gone really slow too. It's kind of crazy. Last night I looked at Dom and I said, we've done so much this week that it feels like it's crawling by. But then I think about it, I'm like, holy crap, it's already Thursday. I love when weeks are like that. Makes me happy. All right, today we are discussing 8 helpful tips on how to say no. I think a lot of us say yes to a lot of things that we don't necessarily want to do all the time. And then it kind of weighs heavy on our souls and our hearts. I know before COVID, I was saying yes to everything. And people's responses to me on like Facebook and Instagram, they're like, Jess, you guys do so much. It looks so much fun. Like you guys lead a great life. And yeah, like we do have a lot of fun. I feel like we lead a great life. I think everybody should feel like they lead a great life. But I felt like I was constantly busy and I never had time for myself or time to really stop and appreciate and like the things that I had and to like do the things I really, really wanted to do. So, yeah, I think learning to say no is something that we all need in our life. And yeah, so here's 8 helpful tips on how to say no. Okay. Number 8, we have to set some limits, set some boundaries. This was the one that kind of came up in my head right away. But if you have an invite to a Tupperware party and your cupboard is already overflowing with Tupperware, just say no to the Tupperware party, right? I think that's a limit or boundary within ourselves. So one of those, like you just have to define. So take some time to actually kind of like define what it is you're looking for in your life, define what you want in your life. A little intention, a little definition around stuff can go a really long way. So you need to stop and you need to think through what your limits and what your boundaries are. Okay? So that's kind of a broad one, but that's number 8. And I think doing that can help with all these other ones too. Number 7, you need to look at who's asking you to do something. If this person is like your mom, dad, a relative that you're really close to, or one of your best friends, right? Maybe you're more likely to say yes to them versus an acquaintance or a friend of a friend. So I found that some people, just because they're asked, they say yes, regardless of who it is. So I think we need to pull that back, see who is asking. Is it something you want to do? Is it within your boundaries and limits? Great, then say yes. Otherwise, be like, peace. Just say no. It's okay. Okay, so who is asking within your limits and boundaries? Number 6, we're going to kind of go a little different direction here now. But stop saying you're freaking sorry. I do it all the time too, and I know a lot of people do. It's a really tough habit to break. There is a new movie out. Actually, it's probably not new, but I just saw it with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick, and I can't think of the name of it. So if you can think of the name of it, put it in the comments. But Blake Lively basically tells her to stop saying sorry, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, in like true little Anna Kendrick fashion. But I really, when she started saying that, I was like, oh God, I do that all the time. It's just an automatic thing, and I think with Minnesotans especially, we just say sorry all the time. Sorry. Or when you're saying no to something, you're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I can't. Why are you sorry? Like, it's okay to not be sorry. You don't have to say you're sorry, right? So try to not say you're sorry all the time when responding to a request, okay? Number 5 on our 8 helpful tips today on how to say no is don't procrastinate. I think on like Facebook, the invites, you have like yes, maybe, and no. Maybes are the worst, and I am one of the biggest people. I write maybe until I know for sure whether or not I'm coming or not. And then I say yes or no. And I'm going to stop doing that. The answer is either yes or the answer is no. There's a Jim Rohn quote that says, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse, right? So just say yes, just say no. It's okay either way, right? What did I write up here? So, oh yeah, I have a shirt that says I'm not for everyone. And it's okay to not be for everyone. And I think like giving false hope to people by saying maybe hurts more than just like a flat out yes. Because you say maybe, you end up not showing up, that person's hurt, right? So if you can't go, just say you can't go. Just say no. It's okay. Okay, moving on. Number 4, provide an alternative. So if your, I don't know, best friend says something like, hey, do you want to do happy hour tonight? Be like, if you don't want to do happy hour, that is. Just say that, no, I don't want to do happy hour tonight, but I would love to take a walk around the lake with you. Do you want to do that instead, or are you free tomorrow? There you go. You provided an alternative, doing something that you want to do, and avoiding the thing you don't want to do, right? But you still want to spend time with that person. So provide an alternative. It's an easy way to say no to one thing, but then to bring in some joy in another aspect in your life. Okay, that one's one of my favorite ways of doing something. Because a lot of times, like as of, I think it was yesterday, I haven't had any alcohol in 7 months. And we get asked to go to the bar a lot because Dom and I used to be big time bar people. And so it's a lot of my really close friends and family know that, like, I'm just not drinking, and that's great. So they don't really ask me to go do those things, but, you know, a lot of people still say like, hey, let's go to the bar. And sometimes I want to spend time with those people, so I say yes, and I just sit there and I have a water, and it's great. But other times I'm just not feeling it. I don't want to go to the bar for whatever reason, and I would rather do something healthy. I would rather do something active, and kind of avoid those places. So I just like to provide an alternative. It works very well, and you still get to have fun, so it's great. Number 3, hold your ground. There's a lot of really persistent people out there, isn't there? They'll ask you like 9 times if you want to do something, and if you continue to give them the same answer, they're going to continue to ask you. And that's fine. That's great. As long as you hold your ground on what it is that, if we circle back to our first one, if you stay with your set limits and your set boundaries, right? So I think you need to learn how to phrase things a little bit differently. If there's a repeater, if somebody is repeatedly asking you something and you know that they're just going to keep asking, you need to figure out how to change your answer, how to change your no into like a more hard no. Okay? So one example, and I don't know why I thought of this because I like going on rides, but my example was Valley Fair. If someone keeps asking you to go to Valley Fair, like if you have kids and they want to go to Valley Fair with their kids and like it'll be this big fun trip, they say. But if you absolutely hate Valley Fair, you don't want to spend the money, you don't want to be around, you know, wet, sweaty children or adults, you hate rides, whatever. The reason actually doesn't matter. But if you absolutely just don't want to do that, just hold your ground. You know yourself better than anybody. So just say, no thanks, I hate rides, right? And if that doesn't work, say it again. Like, oh no, really, no thanks, I actually hate rides and I'm never going to go to Valley Fair. Sounds blunt, but it's okay. It's not a bad, if you don't say it mean, if you don't say it in a negative, like, way, right? It's okay. Okay, number 2. Don't come up with an excuse to make it sound better or to save people's feelings. So I think we all fall into this trap. I know I do because I'm a nice person, right? Most of us are nice people that I know anyway. But if you simply don't want to do something, you can just say like, no, I don't feel like doing that tonight. And if you want to offer up an explanation of what it is you're going to do, great. Like, I'm gonna, I don't know, watch Netflix and eat a pound of popcorn tonight. It's my plan, you know, great. That's not really my plan, but you can say whatever you want. You can offer up that explanation, like I said, but don't make up something like, well, my grandma's sick, so I'm going to go visit her later. Like, how many times has your grandma been sick over the last year? Like, don't put that on your grandma. Don't put that out into the universe, right? Just don't offer up any sort of don't offer up an excuse to make it sound better or to make it sound more realistic. Like, if your intention is to watch Netflix and eat a pound of popcorn, great, you can just say that. Also, I think I've caught people in their little lies a couple times and I don't say anything. I just am like, oh, that's interesting. So people know when you're lying. Yeah, they know when you're lying, and they can never remember, or like, I think you don't remember which lie you're using, because there's definitely been times where I've heard like the same story, the same lie multiple times, like a year apart, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. So anyway, don't come up with an excuse to make it sound better. You can tell the truth. It's okay. All right. And the number one helpful tip on how to say no is literally just to say no. Like, you do not need to offer up any more explanation. It's okay to just say no. You don't need to justify it, right? It feels weird at first, and you're not being mean. And yes, I would say personally that certain people in my life deserve, like, I like telling them what it is I'm doing. I don't necessarily need to just say no to them. But, you know, would you like to donate $2 to the dogs in need today? No. I don't want to do that today. Like, I got a lot going on financially. I'm not going to spare $2 for your dogs in need. Right? So I'm not going to say any of that, though. I'm just going to say no. No. Okay. Anyway, that's my number one tip. Learn to literally just say no. Okay. Well, I hope this was helpful. It was something that resonated with me big time because I was thinking about it, and pre-COVID, I literally was saying yes to almost everything. And I love my family, I love my friends, and I want to do as much as I can with them. But I also think during, especially this time, self-care is very important. If you feel, you know, at all sick, maybe you should stay home. Yeah. So just learn how to say no and be you. Okay. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.